Hello, and welcome. Welcome to this video where we're going to talk about 3 ingredients for a good Qigong practice. Now, this is a mindset type of video where we're going to talk about different ideas to kind of help your mind get in the right place so that you can get the most benefit out of Qigong practice. So if we haven't met before, my name is Jeff. I'm an acupuncturist, practitioner of traditional Chinese medicine, and Qigong instructor. On this channel here, we talk about different ideas about Qigong and traditional Chinese medicine and how you can use it to help you feel your best. So we are live right now, and occasionally I will look down and just kind of see if there's anyone saying hello. And if you are watching live, please let me know where you're watching from, and also what are you trying to get out of your Qigong practice? Is there some health condition that you're working through? Is there some sort of other reason that you have? I love hearing from you. So I'm just going to look down here just for a second. Yes, and so just anytime, just let me know where you're from. All right, so there are 3 essential ingredients for a good Qigong practice. Now, the first thing that we want to consider is our practice effective? Now, this sounds like an obvious thing, like, oh, of course we'd have to think about that. But really, we can be practicing Qigong for a long period of time, whether it's a month or a year or years, and we never really check in to see, is this practice actually working for me? So when I asked you, why are you practicing Qigong? A lot of people have different motivations like pain. Pain is probably the first thing that draws people to practice because we're looking for help. I'm suffering, I need help, and we start looking for different sources. Qigong is an excellent way to help with pain levels. So pain can be a reason, energy levels, some specific health conditions such as digestive problems or headaches or low energy, insomnia, anxiety, depression, mental health issues. So there's many, many different reasons why to practice. So we have to assess, is our Qigong practice helping our symptom? So when it comes to something like pain, okay, I have elbow pain. That's elbow. When I have elbow pain, we look at it. After my practice, how do I feel? Does it feel better? Yep, it's improving. Great, it's effective. But we can also look, okay, an hour later, a day later, 3 days later, how does my elbow feel? Some symptoms will improve immediately. That's great. That's wonderful when that happens. But other symptoms might take a little bit longer for them to actually show some improvement. So we can't always judge like, hey, it's not better yet. Okay, I'm going to give it my practice. We have to give it some time. So we have to, or we can use how we're feeling, our symptoms, to assess how effective our practice is. But now, what if you're practicing for a reason that's not really obvious, like elbow pain or back pain? What if it's just a general feeling of health or emotional state? Well, we have to look at this honestly and see for ourselves, is this actually helping us? And only you will know the answer. Now, that's something that I really like to focus on is your experience, like your experience during Qigong, your experience during practice. What are you feeling? We don't need someone to tell us like, hey, from the outside, this is what you're experiencing. That's helpful in some cases, but we want to tune in and tap in, be mindful, check in with ourselves and say, you know what? I just feel better. I don't know what it is, but I just feel better. And that's just as important as being able to measure how much improvement you're having with your symptoms. So measuring how effective your Qigong practice is so incredibly important. So there are so many different types of Qigong practices. Some say thousands. I'm not sure about that, but I know there's definitely hundreds of different styles. So you don't have to just stick with one style. You can explore and try different types of practices. That's why in the Communi Qi, we have many, many different types of practices, and we're going to continue adding into them. I find that so fascinating. I love learning about different approaches and different techniques, and even learning about why did this particular Qigong practice, why was it invented? And you might find out that, oh, well, maybe the person who started it had a weak immune system, or maybe they had scoliosis, or maybe they lived in a very cold place. So this influences their practice. And I find this just so fascinating. So that's the first reason or first ingredient of a good Qigong practice is to make sure it's effective. So I'm just going to check in here with to see who's here in the chat area. Oh, we have Andrea from Alberta. Oh, that's not too far away from my hometown in Edmonton. So that's nice. And Alabama, wow. Mount Vernon, Ohio, and Quebec. Bonjour. That's about the extent of my French. Um, and Trivette would like to breathe better. That's a good reason for practicing qigong. It's funny. Just as we'll get back to the ingredient list here, but we have in the Communi Qi this practice that's called Breathe Easy. Really, really simple, short practice. I'm just trying to think how long it is. It's probably under 10 minutes. And when I look at all the videos and that we have in the Communi Qi and see what people are watching, how long are they watching for, and how often, that Breathe Easy routine is one of the most popular routines. And I've received so many messages on that short practice. It's quite surprising, actually. And again, it's so easy. It's so breathing. If you are trying to improve your breath work or asthma or allergies or COPD or emphysema, then yes, do practice qigong. Keep practicing because you will definitely notice some effect. Okay, and who else do we have here? Bettina, hello, and Maureen, hello, and Mirella from Bosnia. Wow, this is amazing. Yeah, just amazing. And then some person from Switzerland. I don't know who that is. Cavino. Interesting. So we have. So let's move on to the second ingredient of a good qigong practice. Now this one is so incredibly overlooked, but we need to have a very convenient practice. It has to be easy and convenient. Sometimes that's an idea that we just say, oh, okay, well, that's not that big of a deal. But really, if we can't make our practice convenient and accessible, we just won't practice. When we look at physical type of activity like working out and physical performance, there's a new metric of measuring how effective it is, and they call it the load. So the load on the muscles, how often, how intense, how frequent, and what's the duration of the load. So by far, when you study all the different ways of exercising, it's very measurable to see that if you have shorter duration, but more frequency, it's much better for performance. So what does that mean? Like the difference between working out one time a week versus a lower intensity, lower duration for 5 times a week, you're going to get way more out of the 5 times a week. Now, sometimes people say to me in my clinical practice, they'll say, "Oh, yeah, I used to feel really good when I would swim every day. I would get up at 5 in the morning and I'd go to the pool and swim. So I think I'm going to get back to that." My first question is how easy is it for you to get to the swimming pool? And if it's very easy, no problem. But if it's not convenient, it just won't last very long. If we need a lot of willpower, it just won't last. So we need to find practices where you could just basically stretch your arms out around you. That's all the space you need. And then you can do it with a little bit of instruction. If you have an internet connection, you can watch videos. That's wonderful. And that's all we need. So Tai Chi is a wonderful practice. I practice it myself and I enjoy learning more about it. But you need a lot of space for Tai Chi. Chen style Tai Chi or Yang style, there's several steps you have to move in different directions. And it's wonderful. It's really great, but you need that space. If you work in an office or if you have a small room at home, sometimes you just can't do it. So it has to be really convenient. And yes, I do know that there are some Tai Chi forms that are very stationary, where you basically don't move around very much, and they're great too. But it's very similar to a Qigong practice. So second ingredient of a good Qigong practice is that it has to be very, very convenient, right? So let's see, who else do we have here? Okay, we have someone from Minnesota, Linnea from Minnesota. Yes, again, she mentions that she wants to be able to move around a lot easier. That's such a great reason to practice Qigong. And and Adela from Mallorca. Very nice. That's amazing. You're all from all over the world right now. That's great. Okay, so the third ingredient of a good Qigong practice is it has to be enjoyable. It has to be enjoyable. You have to like your Qigong practice. Now, I've been very lucky that I've been able to practice with some really, really high-level practitioners, and I've been able to learn from some really great teachers. And there's such a different feeling and a different approach that a lot of these teachers and masters have. Some people are very, very serious, very, very academic, very poetic, or they're very rigid with how you're supposed to be practicing. Some people are a lot more kind of freeform. Just move around and see and discover and explore for yourself and see what happens. Now, I think though we need to actually enjoy our qigong practice. It sounds like a silly thing to say, but the effect of actually entering to practice in a joyful, open state really does make a difference to what you get out of it. Sometimes when you see people doing exercise, they have this like really intense, serious look on their face. And whether they're serious, whether they're intense, whether they're distracted and thinking about what should I cook for dinner, it doesn't really matter that much because their muscles are still going to get an effect. But with Qigong practice, we have to coordinate the body, we have to coordinate the breath, and we have to coordinate the mind and the intention. So all of this has to come together and work in unison. If we don't have the mind, if we don't have our intention in the right place, we're not going to get as much out of our Qigong practice. Now, will you get some effect out of it if your mind is not enjoying it? You will, but I think it's going to be a lot less than the actual, like actually enjoying a practice. So what I would encourage you to do is just find joy in practices. Some of my favorite teachers and some of them that I've learned from always had such a joyous approach to their practice. They were serious. They had this element of being serious, but there was always like a smile on their face. They were having fun with it. They were playing around. They were exploring. Something would hurt, like, oh, okay. They'd kind of be curious about it and explore a little bit further. So just bringing that joy and that happiness. And even if you're just pretending at first, you just feel kind of neutral, but just say, okay, yeah, I'm going to enjoy this practice. If you look for that, you will get more out of it. So this is something that I would highly encourage you to find the joy in your practice. And if something is not making you feel joyful, then it's okay to shift and to try something else. I remember I took a class one time and I arrived probably about half an hour early to the class, and there was somebody sitting in the front of the classroom and was in a deep meditation pose with their eyes open, and it was very unnerving to walk into this room and just, oh, there's a person looking at me. Am I supposed to be meditating? Am I supposed to talk to them? And it was a very, very serious class. Now for me, technically I learned some things there, but I just did not feel the qi flow, that joie de vivre. Oh, I guess I do know another French word. I just didn't feel that joy. I learned a lot intellectually, but just didn't feel that qi movement. So now I'm not at all suggesting to be on the side of where it's just completely too relaxed, like you're not joking around or goofing around or anything like that, but you are bringing that element into it. So those are the three elements. Let's just have a quick look here. Who else do we have here? Gabriel from Romania. Wonderful. I practice Tai Chi and simplified Tai Chi. That's wonderful too. San Antonio, Texas. That's great. So that's repulse like monkey. Maureen says, repulse like monkey makes me smile. I have a story about that. Repulse like monkey is a classic movement. It actually comes from Tai Chi, where you imagine that you're a monkey and you are reaching back, grabbing a vine and swinging backwards. So both hands are kind of making two circles. So when I first learned that movement, repulse like monkey, I thought the teacher was saying it was called repulsive monkey. So like a really repulsive, ugly monkey. So I didn't understand, like, where's the poetry and image in that? But then I understood, oh, it's repulse like monkey, not repulsive. So yeah, that's great. So that's wonderful. Everybody's saying, oh, joie de vivre. Thanks. Okay, so that's in general, that's what those are three ingredients that we can look for in our qigong practice. Again, is it effective? The second aspect is it convenient and is it accessible? And the third aspect, is it enjoyable? So you can look at the practices that you're having right now, even if you're doing yoga, meditation, you're working out, and try to bring these three aspects into it. And you can always find ways to make your practice more effective, convenient, and enjoyable. So if if you have any questions, feel free to ask away here. We'll end pretty soon here. But if you like this kind of content, there's lots of different qigong practices that we have on our YouTube channel, Qigong for Vitality, and we can find lots of free practices there. But if you really want to take your practice to the next level, I would highly encourage you to join the Communi Qi. The Communi Qi is an online library of many different qigong practices that are not found here on YouTube. They're full practices, so some of them will be focused fully on the lungs or the heart or the kidneys or the adrenals. And we're always adding to it. We're always trying different types of practices. Just this last month, we added in a practice that was based on what's called silk reeling. So silk reeling is you imagine that you're sewing. I don't know anything about sewing, but you're pulling silk through fabric, and so there's long sweeping circular motions. So we added a routine based on that, which is again proving to be a little bit more popular, and it's challenging, very challenging. It looks very simple on the surface, but it really, really opens up your joints, your neck, your shoulders, everything. It feels wonderful. So we're always adding. We're going to we have a forum where we can ask questions. Like right now, just trying to quickly read your questions, but in the forum, I try to answer questions as much as we can, and we are also going to be doing live meetings in the Communi Qi as well. That's going to be starting like very, very soon, maybe even this weekend. So, well, thank you once again for everybody for joining. I just absolutely. I know this is not new, but it's just amazing that you're all here right now, and I love the energy that people and the positivity that people bring into this YouTube channel and the community. One of my hesitations when putting videos out here to the world is I was always concerned about the amount of criticism or the negative comments. But I have to say, people are so kind, and they're so encouraging to each other and to the practice. And we're all just trying to find our way and trying to find what works for us. And that's just the most important part, is finding what works for you. So thank you once again. Come join us in the community if you're interested, and I'll be around here for a few more minutes. And if you have any more questions, I'll try to answer them. Thank you once again. I hope your qi flows smoothly. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, wonderful evening, and we will see you next time. Oh yes, I do sometimes announce on Facebook that we're going to be doing these live streams, but if you want to keep on top of everything, come join our newsletter, and we'll send you the videos when they come out. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time. How do I end this? Right. Thanks. See ya.